right, up here in the top right-hand corner of the map is Tushin himself, a legend of pro gaming.
StarTale July.
StarTale July Zerg.
Up 1 game.
And down here at the bottom left is our challenger. He needs to win this game to keep himself alive, or he'll be eliminated again.
JJUN.
JJUN. Now I want to point out, by the way, JJUN, he has been having some middling success in other tournaments. We haven't seen him in the GSL in a long time, but he's been playing in the esports Vision weekly tournaments.
Yeah.
And he's been doing all right. He hasn't beat anyone too good there, but he's been beating a few players over there.
Yeah, it's a great tournament, by the way, guys. You should definitely check that out. You know, it's a tournament that takes place on the Korean server. A lot of good Korean players, a lot of B-teamers play in that. So if you want to get, you know, some more information about the playstyles of players you'll see in GSTL, for example, I definitely recommend checking out that tournament.
Yeah.
It's a weekly tournament, as the name suggests. So
yeah.
definitely
So it
recommend
happens about once a week.
Yeah. Generally speaking, on average.
On average.
Well, we can see July has gone for a quick hatchery here, getting his pool up now. Pretty standard on this map. JJUN has gas, so as you would suspect, probably see a reactor Hellion expand.
That would be reasonable. Very, very strong build, and good on this map too. So not surprising to see him do that.
Yeah. And let's see what July Zerg's got planned. July is up a game, and like I've always said about July, is you just do not know what he's going to do.
You never know what he's going to do, man.
He's up a game, he could do something crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I would not be surprised to see him go for some 2-base, Zergling, Baneling. Maybe not all in, but just heavy aggression. You know, because he is up a game, he might as well do something a little bit risky, maybe some kind of a rush like that.
Weird building placement by JJUN, I'd like to note, with the spike in the middle, and we're going to see possible bunkering here. He wanted to put some pressure on, maybe force some Zerglings, extra Zerglings out, but he's going to turn around now. The thing about the wall off that he has here is, if the depot is in between 2 buildings, that means it's still the weakest point on the wall, but when Banelings hit it, it also hits 2 other structures rather than just one. Just something to note. And a little bit of pressure, he's going to actually clean up these Zerglings with good micro.
I think, oh, this is interesting. He's actually, he's going to out-micro those Zerglings, kill off a couple. But he's actually not making a reactor. He might start it in a moment.
And no, he started a starport.
No, he started a starport instead. That is very interesting.
I love this pressure that JJUN is putting on. It's something that some players like to do. It's not something that you have to do, but it's something that forces extra Zerglings, keeps the drone count low. But July is not overcommitting. In fact, he has only made 5 extra Zerglings, and he's just using his Queen right now to defend this. But the problem is more units are coming in, and the Hellion is now coming in as well, so he's going to have to be careful.
Wow, yeah, taking some pot shots at that Queen.
There's the spine. He's like, all right, something bad could happen if I don't make that, because Hellions are going to be on the way.
Yeah, that Queen is actually taking a lot of damage. Here come the Zerglings. The Hellion can just stand and fight and kill off those Zerglings while the Marines run away. That's exactly what he does there.
Yeah, really nice control by JJUN, and the Tech Lab on the starport is finished. He's going to be following this up with Banshee play.
Wow, this is really interesting. A really interesting rush here from JJUN.
Yeah, 1 gas, no cloak, and the Queen goes down.
Oh, wow.
And Zergling speed almost done for July, but it's still not done. An Overlord will go down as well, which will supply block July. Decides not to engage it, though.
Not with those Zerglings there. He does stand on the ramp, though. 2 Queens come out and are able to really polish off those Zerglings. The Marines, the Zerglings do catch the Hellions as well. So for a second there, it looked like July Zerg was in real trouble, and then suddenly everything of JJUN died in a matter of a moment or two.
Now, I'd like to note a few things. 4 drones on the way for July, but as those finish, he's just barely going to pass JJUN in the worker count, which is not a position you want to be in as a Terra, or as a Zerg against Terran. You want to have be ahead on workers, but I like this pressure. It's just kept July low on workers. Now he's making a command center as he gets his Banshee out. It's going to allow him to secure that expansion. This isn't a 1-base all-in. Not even getting cloaked. He just wants to get that Banshee out to control the watchtowers, kill some drones, put some pressure on his opponent. July is probably going to have to even make some spores here as he sees the Banshee. And in fact, 1 spore has already started. Has to be safe.
Here comes the Banshee coming in. There are 2 Queens, so Banshee's not going to do too much. He's just actually going to sit there and take shots for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, this happens sometimes with the Banshee. The first Banshee gets there, you're not paying attention, you lose a lot of hit points.
Yep. targeting the queen with energy there at least, whether it was a coincidence or not. Nice little wall from July Zerg, make sure that Hellions can't run by and do any damage.
Stim just now starting for June a little bit later than you would have ideally liked it to be, but that's because, of course, you got the Banshees out. Command Center finishing up as 2 more barracks finished, so basically a pressure into Banshee expand. Very unusual build out of June. In fact, only making 2 Banshees and switching, going to start siege tank production.
Where did the Banshees go? Is he doing anything with them, or are they just hanging around?
The one that went out flew back home, got repaired, and the second one just stayed at home. So they're both back at home. He's going to probably go take the watchtowers with them. He doesn't need to, though, because he's got the watchtower with his Hellions right now anyways.
Just surprised he's not being a little more active with them, or wasn't, but now I guess he is.
He's got a Viking in production, which is going to help him clean up Overlords. There's only 1 Overlord on the map, though, for July. It's behind the natural, and July still knows he's not mining from a second base yet, so
yeah.
I've got to be careful. I've got to be careful about my droning right now.
Yeah,
making
so
a few extra Banelings.
Exactly, that's why we see him making a few drones, but also some more Zerglings and Banelings.
Oh, we're going to see maybe a Queen go down here.
Oh, yep, he targets down the one with the most energy, so couldn't transfuse. 5 hit points on that Banshee, gets away.
You know, I really don't like that decision making, because if he had lost the Banshee, of course July's going to have more than 2 queens out. And if you lose 1 queen when you have 3 queens, then guess what? You don't miss any injects, it's fine. Losing a Banshee for that, not the best trade.
Yeah, Banshee more expensive, much more expensive than a queen. Much more vital.
And it cuts into your starport production time, for example. Spire on the way, smart timing there by July. Probably he'll make a macro hatch, I think, before taking a 3rd as well, considering this is Crossfire. 3rd base is kind of far away.
Baneling speed now going on as well as the Spire. And that's going to be crucial. The creep spread of July has not been able to move out too far because of the pressure that June's been putting on him.
Yeah, I really like this build by June. I don't know exactly how it's, you know, it could have been fleshed out, but I like the idea behind it. And finally, it looks like there's going to be enough Zerglings to clear up that watchtower for good. Final Hellion will eventually fall here.
Maybe. One more shot. Oh, Hellion actually wins out. Nope, there's another Zergling. Well, you guys missed it, but one more Zergling did kill off that Hellion.
Yep, takes his watchtower as a prize. Viking continuing to patrol around looking for Overlords, but July has put all of his Overlords in the top right corner to prevent this.
Yeah, that's also going to mean that June will know when and if July takes a 3rd. That's going to be important information too. Because right now, Terran is fine to sit on 2 base versus 2 base against a Zerg player.
And speaking of that 3rd, the Viking is perhaps going to spot the drone that's going over there to make it right now. July is not going to make the macro hatchery, instead going for that aggressive 3rd. And the Viking moves out of range just before, so we will not see this.
Interesting.
And a huge push coming down the map for June with a lot of units, Smoltrap. He still has the Banshees in the mix to target down Banelings. It's going to become a micro battle here, really.
Yeah, this is again hitting right when the Spire has just finished. He's already made the Mulus though. Oh, and the Mulus do fly through some Marine Fire, loses a couple.
Yeah, 1 Muta for 1 Viking there, and there are no turrets up just yet. He's making them, but they're not quite ready.
Oh no, again June caught with his turrets down.
I guess so.
His turret pants. And he's going to be forced to, instead of sending reinforcements to the front, he's going to be forced to use them to defend. Here comes the Banelings and Zerglings. He's got it at the small choke point. The tank's targeting down the Banes.
Oh,
Only loses a single tank and a few Marines.
July in a lot of trouble now. He's going to have to send his Mutalisk back, but he does not have a strong Mutalisk count right now. June just pushing through here. July may hold. His Spine's doing a lot of damage. The Mutas come to flank, but he's losing a lot of them.
And June just stutter steps his Marines back, kills most of the Zerglings and half the Mutas, but he does manage to just have enough DPS to kill all the Marines, and the Mutas are going to clean up the tanks and medevacs.
Now, here's the key, Moltrap. Right now, he's kept the Mutalisk count pretty low. He's only got 9 Mutas now, so even though he lost his entire army, he didn't kill a lot of drones, he didn't really kill any significant structures or anything like that, but he kept the Mutalisk count low. So now he can actually think about taking a 3rd base.
Interesting, yeah.
And right now, as far as unit counts go, the drone count 46 to 46. July does have that 3rd base up and running though. And the Mutalisk count, again, it's at 11. It's a little bit too low. There's 19 Marines out, and the turrets have been completed now.
Yeah, if there's a couple turrets, 11 is not enough to really do any harassment.
And the momentum is now in June's favor. He's out on the map. He's got control of the watchtowers. July can't really afford to harass. He's got to use his Mutas to defend, slow down pushes and things like that.
Yeah, and that he is, although this push by June is actually a little dangerous.
Yeah.
July's macro is usually extremely good. He's just droned up again, so He doesn't have a ton of units on the map right now, but another couple set of injects. He could crush this army, and then JJUN will be in trouble, because that's a pretty paltry army with just 2 tanks.
I think you're exactly right. I think you've just described the future here as July finds and corners this army. Yeah. Nice control, though, by JJUN, making the best out of it.
And Julyzerg, again, is going to have to use his mutas to clean up, but clean up he will. Did not lose a single drone in that encounter.
Only lost his Banelings, but the Banelings did their job. And again, the Mulus count not very high. It's up to 13 now.
I'm not sure why he went out with like 14 Marines and 2 tanks. That doesn't seem like it was enough to do
here's
enough
the thing.
Damage.
He could have moved out with more Marines and relied on just the turrets and rallying Marines to defend Mulus because he kept the Mulus count low. But JJUN didn't quite realize, I don't think, is July really making a ton of mutas? Even though he killed a lot of his mutas, how many does he really have? Now he's going to move out with all his Marines, but this is not the right moment because here come the mutas into his main actually, skipping the natural.
Where there's less turrets, and the one turret goes down in the main, and all those SCVs are going to be under danger, and actually, most of them are going to run away, but that means July could just pick off depots and tech structures and refineries.
JJUN is not turning around with his units in the middle of the map. He's relying on the rallied units, and that alone is enough to scare July back. But he's got so many Banelings morphing here. He's got speed. His Zerglings have +1. No Carapace upgrades, though. The Muse may fly over.
Oh, and he's not sieged up? Oh, he does siege up. Okay.
Close call there.
And JJUN needs to be careful because his Marines are not near his tanks right now. And there you go. The tank gets picked off in reinforcement. And he actually just has like 3 tanks in the middle of the map without any Marines near him.
This is what I was talking about.
And there they go.
Good for mutas.
There they go.
Nice positioning by July.
Wow, and now with no tanks at all, JJUN forced into a complete and utter retreat against these mutas and Zerglings. Trying to stutter step micro a little bit. There's some more Marines coming in, but the Banelings say, bring it.
Nice splitting by JJUN, though. Oh, except that last
Except for the end there.
But even so, he's going to push these mutas back. If he had split just a little bit better, that trade would have been okay for him. But the problem, Moltrap, is, you know when you were talking about that moment where he moved out with like 11 Marines and 2 siege tanks?
Yeah.
That's when he should have secured a third base. He kept the Mulus count low. If he had the third base up now, he could have a planetary, for example, at the 9 o'clock or at the bottom right. Could have been safe there, and then he would have been in a really good position. But now, you know, he lost that army, and things have spiraled out of control for him. He lost control of the center of the map, and July just slowly but surely is pushing ahead here. He's got +2 finishing up for his melee units and his Mutalists right now.
No, you're right. That would have been a perfect time to take the 9 o'clock, because then he could have sieged up there and then have been in a really close position to push on July's 3rd in the top left and prevent the 4th that's going up right now.
And not only that, but the Mutalists, you know, if they try to do some harassment, if there's turrets up at that 9 o'clock base, we'll hold that thought. Stimming here, but he's going to lose all of his siege tanks and perhaps even all of his Marines. I think he will. This may be the end of the game.
Yeah, Julyzerg is just completely outclassing JJUN here. JJUN is making kind of strange decisions. He's making mistakes here and there, and Julyzerg is not letting him get away with any of them.
No, he's not.
It's now 2 base to almost 4.
It's now 2-1 as far as supply ratios go.
Yeah.
He's going to attack here. This may be the end. The depots are not raised. And look at that. He's just going to roll in here. JJUN trying to move back and split, but he has no room to run.
And GG. And something I just realized, well, it kind of culminatingly realized, is that JJUN did not have his tank sieged at the beginning of a single battle with Julyzerg.
The only time he had his tank sieged was
the top left.
The top left, and at the top left, and at that one moment in the middle of the map where July just found his 3 siege tanks and killed them.
Well, yeah, the tanks were sieged there, but they didn't. They were just sieged to die.
You gotta feel for JJUN.
Oh yeah.
You know, Zenex actually. I want to talk about Zenex a little bit before we close out here. Zenex is a team that has shown so much persistence. They've never been able to produce strong results. Their best players were sent to other teams.
Yeah.
JJUN, Puzzle,
they've lost all their best players.
They lost all their best players. And I'll tell you guys why I have a lot of inside information about this. Zenex, a team that struggled to do well, and there were a lot of inner strife in the team. And a lot of this has been posted and things. It's like out there. Some people just don't know because Zenex isn't the most popular team, you know, for foreigners, for example. But they've been through a lot, you know, and they're still together. They've held it together several times. They've thought of disbanding, but they said, no, actually, we're going to stick through this. And you see JJUN in there. You see how disappointed he is, and it's frustrating for me because, I mean, I used to hang out with the next guys. I'm really close to them, and I see that Jun's a good player. I see his ideas in that game. I see, it's definitely, he had no plans to take a third base with that game. He had a plan to do that 2-base timing attack, maybe get a 30 if he did damage. But I saw the pressure flesh out there. I saw his control of the Banshees and how he planned everything out, and I see a good player there, but July is just on another level.
Yeah.
He just is on another level. And it's sad to see, but it's a problem that begets a problem if you're on the Team ZenX and you don't have any star players to train with. Of course, your team itself isn't going to grow as quickly, but ZenX is still around. I really admire their persistence as a team.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, June, he had good play. He had overall generally good play. I mean, we talk about him making mistakes. The mistakes he made were generally decision-making mistakes, not play mistakes.
Right.
And, you really need to have that top-level decision-making in order to beat a player like July, who's going to make the right decision 99% of the time.
Yeah, definitely
well,
so.
Maybe not 99, but anyway.
We're going to take a 10-minute break, guys, so don't go anywhere. See you in a few.